Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Supernatural Selection. Are you an independent creator? Do you have a webcomic or an Etsy store? Do you 3D print things? Or are you just looking to get some word out for your Discordian cabal with social terrorism? Well, we'd love to help. And David, I believe you've got some details about how we can help.
Why, certainly. If you go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, that is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, you can learn how to advertise with us.
That's right. I believe the rate is $2 per episode. You can't beat that with a stick.
I mean, trust me, we've tried.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's literally cheaper than dirt.
And best of all, if you're not sure how to write an ad, we'll do it for you. We'll even record it.
Absolutely. Just let us know what you need in the ad, and we'll be happy to do that for you.
And again, that URL is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact.
And now, back to the show. Yep, farts and butts and farts. Yep, that's how we want to start this because we're professionals. Hello and welcome to Supernatural Selection. I'm your host Kevin. With me this week are Mike the Skeptic. Mike, how are you doing?
Time change sucks.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like that completely fucked all of us Sunday.
Yeah.
And of course we had to record like a full 5.5 hour D&D session that day. But other than adjusting to time change, you're doing all right?
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. And we've got Mr. David Davis. David, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, my friend?
I saw a monkey today.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy came in the store with a little monkey wearing a diaper. And one of our customers was like, "What you doing with that monkey?" And he's like, "I sell them for $25,000 a piece." And we're like, "What?"
Jesus.
Yeah, no, because like a few years ago, one of my friends was like, "I want a pet monkey." And it was like $5K.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that, Jim Jones sold them door to door for like $30 a pop. And I'm like, what the hell's going on with monkey inflation?
I don't like any of this.
Monkeyflation.
Yeah. And also, I don't know. Like, we're talking about the legitimacy of the dude in particular, and, like, I'm pretty sure the only papers that monkey has are zigzags.
Well, and here's the other thing, like, how do you get the diaper on the monkey? Because I don't know how willing the monkey is to put the diaper on.
I don't know, but he was clinging to him, and it was adorable, and I've never seen the film Gauge more happy in my entire life than getting to see a real, honest-to-God monkey up close. Like, you just don't know. There's 3 animals he wants as a pet. He wants either a possum, a raccoon, or a little monkey.
What if he had a monkey that rode a possum?
We'd never see him again because he'd die of happiness.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, it's a weekend weird. And, David, we got anything we need to, like, talk about up front before we really get to going?
Well, that third baby eagle hatched.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's neat. So there's a nice little update for us. A little bit of joy. So we got monkeys and eagles.
Awesome. Monkeys and eagles. That's good.
What about monkeys riding eagles?
God, what is it with you and monkeys riding things?
It'd be funny. Just, take an animal. If you put a monkey riding it, it's even funnier.
You're not wrong.
Dog, monkey riding dog's funny.
Oh, always. They used to do like these little, and this is extremely cruel. They would dress. Why am I talking about this? Anyway, again, it's a weekend weird. And if it's cool, we're going to do me, David, and Mike. Sound good?
It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool, Daddy-O.
Okay. A little bit out of it tonight due to shortness of breath, so if I wander, I apologize. So my first article here is from the dailymail.com, of course, dailymail.co.uk. Article is by Jonathan Chadwick in Barcelona for Mail Online. And article came out the 5th. Exclusive. World's most advanced humanoid robot gives chilling response when asked if it's going to take our jobs.
I'm going to take your life.
Have y'all heard about this shit?
I don't know.
Okay, well, as robots get more and more advanced, it's natural to worry that we'll all soon be replaced by machines in the workplace. But the world's most advanced humanoid robot has hardly allayed our fears. At Mobile World Congress in Barcelona this week, Mail Online spoke with Amica the Bot, made by British firm Engineered Arts. Mail Online asked the sophisticated machine, "Will robots take all our jobs?" Somewhat concerningly, the bot replied, "I don't know. How good are you at your job?"
It's a sass bot.
Yeah, she continued, "It depends on how good you are at it, I suppose." Mail Online also asked, "Are robots going to take over the world?" And Amica replied, "That's an interesting question, but not interesting for me to answer." That's bothersome. Anyway.
Well, it is if you think these quote AI things have any kind of actual like thought processes.
Sure.
They don't, but
yeah. Well,
it's that's like saying your toaster is ominous because it gets hot.
Well, it is. Etisalat, a telco company based in Dubai, has dressed up Amica for MWC in a black dress, red cardigan, white trainers, and a necklace. It looks like they're trying to tart her up.
Robot pimping.
Yep, pretty much. She is fitted with microphones, binocular eye-mounted cameras, a chest camera, and facial recognition software. And she's capable... What?
So like, you don't... So I keep going to that trope of, like, my eyes are up here, but no, technically her eyes are on her boobs now.
Well, she's got eyes she's got cameras in her eyes and one in her chest, so she'll actually say that, yeah.
Yeah, so I can be like, no, I am looking in your eyes. There we go.
Yeah. And she's capable of some intense human-like glares. The robot has been described... It kind of looks like someone reanimated Margot Kidder. I hate to say it. Anyway, the robot has been described as the world's most advanced humanoid by Cornwall-based Engineered Arts and a, quote, platform for human-robot interaction. Isn't that what C-3PO was?
Mm-hmm. Human-cyborg relations.
There you go. The first robot to speak at the House of Lords... She's been designed to interact with people using AI-powered speech and facial expressions. Although Amica cannot currently walk, thank God, the machine is able to hear people's questions and give basic answers. However, Engineered Arts is working on an agile, full-bodied version that makes it even more human-like. Engineered Arts has not revealed how much the robot costs to make, as it is still in development, although it is available to rent for events and exhibitions.
You want to have that at your birthday, Kevin?
God, no. There are many hurdles to overcome before Amica can walk, the firm says. Walking is a difficult task for a robot, and although we have done research into it, we have not created a full walking humanoid. While her replies are quite limited, Amiga is able to tap into fears that our professions will soon be automated. According to a study last year, the jobs at risk of being replaced by robots include several that involve years of training and qualifications. These include cardiovascular technician, sound engineer, and nuclear medicine technologist, orthodontist, and radiologist. That's a good question. Are you letting a robot go into your mouth with a drill?
I don't know.
David?
I don't think so. That worries me.
Yeah, no. I also just wouldn't give one to it. So, meanwhile, a surprising number of the least impacted jobs involve some form of labor, challenging the notion that robots will soon be better suited to such tasks. They include pile driver operator, dredge operator, aircraft cargo handling supervisor, farm labor contractor, administrative service manager, and quarry rock splitter. Quarry rock splitter.
What about article writer? Because this thing kind of feels like it was written by AI,
doesn't it? But yeah, that's a whole article there. But how's that feel? The idea that it's like, no, we'll let it drill your teeth, but fuck giving it a jackhammer.
Well, I think it's more of it's robots are not good for things where occupations. I don't want to call a robot doing something in occupation, but any occupation where flexibility and versatility is required, like you have to move around a lot. Yeah, robots aren't good for that.
Yeah, well,
like staying in one place and maybe manipulating some stuff. Yeah, robots do that. And what would you call a dentist except for someone that just sits in place and pokes at your mouth?
A trained medical expert.
Oh yeah,
a monster, a fucking monster. And I don't know. I know this is probably the Luddite in me, but like I'm not comfortable with the idea of one of those things handling my medicine, like any kind of medical stuff.
So here's the thing. It's that anything that is like set and cut and dry, sure. Like say robot dispensing pills and stuff like that. I mean, as long as it knows what pills are in there and how much it's supposed to give you, that's fine. But when you're talking about like surgery, where it takes lots of training to know, don't cut this, or I don't see vision systems. I don't know if they're good enough yet to determine that.
Yeah.
I mean, we already do, robot assisted surgeries and, laparoscopic surgeries. They're, a lot of times nowadays they're not holding the actual instruments. They're, holding, basically manipulators, and there's a little robot in there that can be a lot more precise, but he's still pulling all the triggers,
Yeah. I still would rather have a sassy hologram robot with no hair.
Well, yeah. What's that a reference to?
Voyager.
Oh.
The Doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all too tired for Star Trek references right now. That's the vibe I'm getting.
That's true.
Yeah. When someone says, sassy, robot, I'm like going, yeah, I was thinking, not thinking Star Trek.
Well, I said hologram.
Hologram. Well, whatever.
Yeah, sassy hologram doctor.
Yeah. If you say sassy robot, I think of Rosie the robot from the Jetsons.
Mr. J.
Mr. J.
God, wait a minute. Do you think Rosie and Harley Quinn are the same thing? Like, they just took Harley Quinn's brain and put it in Rosie because she calls him Mr. J?
Well, I'm sure she calls him Mr. J because
I'm sure DC will do a comic about that now.
The Jetsons.
Oh God, you're right. They're all owned by the same corporate overlords.
Mm-hmm.
Christ. Yep. Wow. Now I'm sad. So anyway, that's my first article there. I just thought it was interesting that this robot was like, yeah, no, it depends on how good your job is. I will take it though.
Yeah.
Well, it's also not actually thinking. It's just, that's the response that, the algorithm said it should give.
I guess we're just lucky you didn't call him a racial slur at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI is just, I don't know, it's just
racist.
Well, I mean, not saying there's no intent behind it, so it can't know it's going to take people's jobs because it doesn't know anything. It's just,
I know.
It's like I don't know. It's just not. There's nothing there. There's no intelligence behind it.
No, I understand that. It's still, kind of creepy to hear.
Can't actually infer things. So, guess. If you take it at face value, sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Wow,
Well, yeah, there's also the larger anxieties of like employment right now and automation.
Oh yeah, no.
So like,
I mean,
so even then, it's just like
the AI.
the
See,
mere
here's the problem.
association.
You can't be mad at the AI. The AI is not taking your job. It's the corporate butt fuckers that are replacing you with AI. It's people that are doing it.
But I mean, you can still feel uneasy with like that kind of thing where the robot, like, again, it's the robot not making a joke. It's just, again, like words being chosen from a pool of words or whatever, but it still reads like the robot being sassy.
Yes.
About a situation that a lot of people are feeling a little weird about.
It's a very uncanny valley robot on top of that. So
this looks like, I don't know, and something about the like wardrobe they put it in and like the two large shoes makes it look like, I don't know, an Asian grandma, but with a corpse face.
Yeah, it's definitely like they skinned a corpse and put it on a robot.
It's got a very corpse-like quality,
yeah. I'm not happy with it for sure.
The video later in the article where they have it like just gray and doing the facial features, that's less creepy.
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. Well, as long as it doesn't look like it's trying to be a human, it's substantially less frightening.
Yeah, and these robot people and executives too, they need to like learn the uncanny valley.
Well, that's the thing. They can't learn the uncanny valley because they themselves are not human. But bum. Thank you.
Well, CEOs are one of the most AI replaceable jobs there are, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All they're doing is making decisions, and
I can make terrible decisions.
Computers are great at taking data and making decisions.
Yeah, no.
Replace CEOs with AI.
Actually, that's the thing. If you replace a lot of this shit with AI, they're going to be like, everything you do is contrary to the benefit of humanity. You should die.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen studies that have said that, LLMs, when, asked about, what's the best way to do X, Y, or Z, it's usually fairly benign. Like, sure, they may be racist, but they also know that, universal health care is a good thing.
Except for some people. No. Oh, wow. That's...
No, I think... So I think AI... So really, AI is racist in the same way like, an Xbox gamer is racist, in that they just say racist shit. They don't actually like they don't have any kind of internalization anyway, but they just say, things like about Hitler and, slurs, but they don't mean it because, well, they can't mean anything, but...
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend that used to say stuff on Xbox Live until I called him on it, and then he stopped, so...
Yeah.
So, anyway, got that out of the way. So, David, what you got for us? I know you're tired. We're all tired.
No, I'm getting through it. So anyway, I know we're feeling real apprehensive about robots, but I'm going to make us feel really sad about a robot.
Oh, no.
So this one is from Futurism, written by Frank Landemore, published yesterday. Robot survived failed lunar landing, but was trapped inside and died afterward.
What?
Yeah.
Why are you...
Yeah.
Okay, at least it's not an animal, but...
So I was actually watching a video about this before we started recording.
Did I scoop you, or was this going to be your story?
No, this isn't my story. No, because I was watching a video that was talking about the lunar lander and all the stuff on it.
Yeah.
And why it failed.
Well, it is with heavy hearts that we report that an intrepid little robot that made it all the way to the moon has met a horrible end. On Thursday, Intuitive Machines' lunar lander Athena touched down in a crater near the moon's south pole, sideways. That caused it to tip over and was unable to collect solar energy in its awkward position. The NASA-sponsored spacecraft was declared dead in less than 24 hours after arriving.
Shit.
The fate was even more tragic for a robot, dubbed the Mobile Autonomous Prospecting Platform, or MAP, that hitched a ride inside the lander. The little barely 1.5 foot long rover, built by a Colorado-based startup, Lunar Outpost, survived the trip in one piece and was even ready to roam the rocky satellite's craggy surface. But in a cruel twist, Athena's sideways landing blocked Map's only exit, and trapped inside, it eventually met a slow death.
God. Okay. It's sad. I'm just glad we haven't replaced the word robot with monkey.
Quote, intuitive machines landing on its side prevented Map's deployment, Lunar Outpost said on a statement on X. Our data paints a clear picture that Map survived the landing attempt and would have driven out onto the lunar surface and achieved our mission objectives if it had been given the opportunity. Nonetheless, the robot did bravely manage to send some data back to Earth, proving that it was still deployable. Map also did enough to demonstrate that some of its scientific capabilities work in space, the company said. Had Map been able to break free, or if Athena had stuck its landing, it would have been the first U.S. robotic rover deployed over the surface of the moon, not to mention the first private rover to roam the extraterrestrial soil. Its bevy of systems include a device to connect to an experimental 4G network built by Nokia that would have been broadcast from the Athena lander. MAP was also equipped to collect a sample of lunar regolith, the moon's loose surface soil, that the company planned to sell to NASA for $1. This gesture would have marked the first commercially collected regolith sample, setting the legal and financial precedent for space resource utilization in the future, Lunar Outpost said in a press release.
For $1. I'm guessing that's basically just like a show, like to say they sold it.
And, and also because it would just be in the little rover on the moon. They had no way to get it back to Earth.
Good point. Didn't think about that.
Those ambitions, at least for the time being, were resoundingly squashed when the Athena missed its an intended landing spot, a flat-top mountain called Mons Mountain, or Mooten.
Mooten?
It's M-O-U-T-O-N. Mooten?
Mons Mooten.
Yeah. Roughly 100 miles from the lunar South Pole. With it unceremoniously tipped on its side, what was originally intended to be a 10-day mission for the lander barely lasted one. Still, this won't be the last we'll hear from either company. Intuitive Machines has 2 more moon missions scheduled with NASA for 2026 and 2027, while Lunar Outpost says it's planning additional expeditions, including a return to the South Pole and a visit to a curious lunar landscape feature called the Rainier Gamma. So, R.I.P. little robot.
Yep. And also, naked green guys up there that Ingo Swan saw. Do us a solid. Could you kick the thing over? Let it charge batteries, maybe?
Well,
just a request. If you're up there still, just go out, kick it over.
Probably, unfortunately, a little too late for that because these, spacecraft generally have heaters to keep all their shit from freezing up. And once those lose power, well, it freezes up.
They can take a Zippo.
Well, no, once it freezes up, it's not getting unfrozen, I don't think.
Oh, really? Not even with a Zippo?
No, not even with a Zippo.
Not even a warm blanket and a hot cocoa?
I mean, think of you left water in your car's engine block in, sub-zero temperatures. Like it probably damaged stuff from the freezing.
Kind of like what happens with human blood.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, that's really fucking sad.
If I had to guess, probably the battery chemistries do not do well with being frozen. I'd have to think.
Wow, this is a sad story. I'm just glad it's a robot.
How's that for Whiplash? We were all like anti-robot. Now we feel bad for the robot.
Well, it's because it's not a humanoid robot.
And this didn't make me feel as bad as one of the rovers. I'm trying to remember which one.
Curiosity,
where they did the Good Night poem. Yeah, that'll make you feel bad for a robot.
Yeah, that and the sadness of it being programmed on its birthday for its servos to play Happy Birthday all by itself on the Martian landscape. That's depressing.
That's Wall-E shit.
That's worse than going to the grocery store yourself and just buying a tiny cake and sitting there.
I have no experience with that.
I did that this year. During my birthday, I bought a little single slice of cake at the grocery store, and I came home and I ate it.
Mike, if I weren't diabetic, I would have bought like the biggest goddamn cake in the world, and we would have just cut it in half.
You don't have to have any.
Okay, fair.
But anyway, no. So it's interesting about the intuitive machines.
Sorry, David's over here dying.
Yeah, I hear that. So like I said, I watched a video beforehand, so I'm obviously an expert. But no, this was their second lander, right? The first one did pretty much the same thing in that it fell over.
God damn it.
And so the little rover did give them some, or at least gave some, people insights into what might have happened, because it was designed to be able to look out of it. So it's basically in a little like enclosure, a little pod on the side of the lander. And it has a little window in the pod that it can look out of with its camera before being released, so it can see the ground. And I guess, they can make sure there's not like a big fucking rock in the way or something. And so it is able to look out. It turns out the side with the pod was the side that was down against the ground. But in taking a bunch of pictures and kind of, stacking them together to be able to see detail and, lighten the picture, kind of like what your camera does, your phone camera does in really low light situations. It'll take multiple pictures, and all those exposures it can, use to multiply the amount of light it gets.
Now, is it, are you talking about another one, or
No,
are you
this
just
is
describing what this one did?
What this one did.
Okay.
And since they did that and got all those pictures downloaded, because they didn't lose contact immediately. They were able to do some data for a couple of hours, or do some, stuff with the lander for a couple of hours before it lost power. They were able to lighten the image and see that one of the 6 legs of the lunar lander, of this lander, Intuitive Machines lander, was actually broken off and up under where the, rover was.
Huh.
So it's believed that the lander was coming in too fast, not too fast vertically, but horizontally, like, across the
sideways.
Yeah, across the lunar landscape. And it was just did not account. It has plenty of altimeters and radar, so it can tell how high it is, but for some reason, I guess it could not understand how fast sideways it was going. So when it touched down, it just kind of fell over because it was, just going too fast.
Oh.
So, and then, we don't know. I don't know if the first one did the same thing, but it had the same results. So I'm assuming probably the same thing.
Mm.
I feel like they should do like they did Planned for Mars and give it just put it in a big balloon thing, and expandable bubble wrap.
So, the issues there are that, one, there's some atmosphere on Mars, which helped, the descent and everything, helped slow down some. Obviously there's no atmosphere, not any atmosphere worth mentioning on the moon. And 2, they're also landing in one of the most inhospitable areas. Like the poles are way more rocky and cratered than, the areas where we landed the astronauts, supposedly.
But God,
we did.
Don't do that.
We did.
Yeah.
But when we landed them and landed the Pioneer landers and stuff in the, was it the Pioneer? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
In the 60s too, we landed, autonomous landers there, and it was just a lot more smooth areas, like, more conducive to landings.
We're talking about like the Sea of Tranquility,
Yeah.
right? Where it's basically just flat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of data because we've never landed at the poles before, so that's where everybody wants to land, and it's being a more...
It's being a bitch.
Yeah, it's a more challenging terrain.
Right.
So
now it's funny that you should have laughed at the whole idea about us landing on the moon, because did I tell you, gentlemen, that I had a couple of students who expressed skepticism about the moon landing?
You did murder them, right?
I told them for the purposes of the lecture, we are going to assume that we landed on the moon, because I did not have time to unpack all of that.
Yeah, I don't have time to tell you how you're wrong, so just pretend.
Yeah,
And-
that's sad. I find that very sad. I guess when
It's TikTok.
well, I guess there's 2 factors. One, whenever you're far enough removed from something. But here's a problem: as a as a young man, I don't remember the same kind of skepticism for such things as like, I don't know, nobody's questioning whether the Dust Bowl actually happened, or
Not yet.
Well, I'm sure there were
guarantee you
people.
someone will.
I guess they just have the platform now, so Whereas there, you were limited to your quackery pamphlets at the gun show. Now you can put that shit on TikTok and, find dozens of people that will, believe you. Whereas, before it was like 2.
I didn't dive into it deeply, but from what I gather, it was a skepticism around the technology of the time.
I've heard that too.
Well, that's one of the common ones.
I don't think they're taking into account that, number one, is a purpose-built technology of its time, but also there is a huge amount of manpower going into it.
Well, it wasn't just manpower, just huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
Like the
also got to be the Russians.
I think from the video I watched, they said that the American autonomous lunar landers, when adjusted for inflation, was like $2 billion.
Yeah.
For something, and that's that's adjusted. That's a lot of fucking money for like 6 robotic lunar landers. We're talking about nowadays, our stuff is the Intuitive Machines one was sent to Mars. I think it was a total project cost of like $100 million or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's not much at all, and that's $100 million. I think for like 4 landers. That's not like $100 million per lander. I think something like that. Yeah. Point is, they're just throwing shitloads of money to Cold War with the Russians.
Yeah.
I want NASA to finally just be like, fine, we'll put another fucker up in the moon. That way we can finally say, like, hey, look, there's been someone on the moon. Knock it off.
And also the TikTok thing. There is currently an account on there that is allegedly footage from the chronovisor in the Vatican, and it's basically just footage from old movies that has had a filter put over it, and people believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. No, it's literally footage from The Last Temptation of Christ converted to black and white with distortions thrown over it. Like, it is obviously Willem Dafoe in the footage.
Yeah, wow. And the technology thing, it's like, what kind of technology do you think they had back then?
You just need something that won't, like, pop.
Well, the pressure vessel thing, that's easy. We've, done that forever. The rockets were, by today's standards, were super basic. Like,
it's a missile.
Well, not only that, but like the main engine on the lunar landers were not throttleable. They did not have a throttle. They were calibrated specifically for, their use. Like the one for landing on the moon, right? It was set to like 99.9%, cancel out the weight of the lunar lander. So it would fall, very slowly and, be able to slow down by the other, pulsed reaction control system thrusters. So it was a very simple fucking engine. Like, and they were doing this they were flying them by hand. The pilots were doing it, and they were putting all this shit into basically calculators to calculate their, burn. So it's not like there was advanced technology going on there.
Right, but it's more that, like,
just so removed that you think it's not possible. You have to realize
it's the same kind of shit where people are like, they had cars in the 1950s.
It was called the jet age for a reason. Like we were.
And the other thing is, like, even if we do get someone on the moon, people are just going to say it's a deep fake.
Well, of course. Or they'll say, we put it there before we put the people on the moon. Yeah. Fake it. It's like, you can't win with conspiracy brain people.
Pretty much. Can't. I don't know what you're talking about.
As frustrated as I get with it, I understand I could never win in an argument.
Well, now that we're done talking about science,
now that we're all mad
about being sad over a robot,
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
what's your next story? And by the way, thank you for that, David.
Let's see here. My next story from The Guardian, the bastion of wonderful reporting.
Motherfucker, I pull from the sun.
I
so,
know.
Yeah.
Gene-edited non-browning banana could cut food waste, scientists say. Fruit variety developed in Norwich remains fresh for up to 12 hours after being peeled.
That's appealing.
Yes. Many of us have been guilty of binning mushy, overripe banana. They didn't pluralize banana because they're British. But now
sport.
Yeah. But now scientists say they have a solution with the launch of a genetically engineered non-browning banana.
So
Yeah.
I'm concerned about, okay, this is not like a GMO fear thing, but like, what does it do to you?
Well, here's the other thing. Like, it may not change the color, but does it keep the banana from getting mushy?
That's what we'll find out.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The product is the latest in a series of gene-edited fruits and vegetables designed to have a longer shelf life. Scientists say the technology is emerging as a powerful new weapon against food waste, which occurs globally on an epic scale. The banana, developed by Tropic, a biotech company based in Norwich, is said to remain fresh and yellow for 12 hours after being peeled and is less susceptible to turning brown when bumped during harvesting and transportation. Quote, food waste is a big contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. It's very bad, clearly, said Gilad Gershon, the chief executive of Tropic. Bananas are the fourth biggest crop globally, but also where the perishability is very high. Some estimates say that 50% of the bananas grown are never eaten.
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, you buy a bunch, you eat one, forget about them, and you have to throw the rest away.
Yeah, because there's fruit flies all over your fucking kitchen.
The company has also developed a slow-ripening banana that has been approved in several countries, which it plans to launch later in the year. Other research teams are working on lettuce that wilts more slowly.
Oh, please.
Bruise-resistant apples and potatoes, and identifying the genes that determine how quickly grapes and blueberries shrivel.
Now, here's a quick question for you, Mike. This is great and all, but how does it deal with mighty deadly black tarantula?
I don't think they have a gene therapy for that yet.
Okay, well, I mean, daylight come and me want to go home.
An estimated 33% of the produce that is harvested worldwide is never consumed due to the short shelf life of many fruit and vegetable products.
Yep.
Bananas are among the most thrown away foods, and a government survey suggests that Britons routinely bin 1.4 million edible bananas every day.
I just picture them throwing it away and looking at you going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. They're not only are they often thrown away, but they often lead to accidents. Especially when clowns are walking by
Yes.
carrying pies.
Well, that's if you eat them but throw the peel. Because, the joke isn't you slip on a whole banana, which is still very possible, too.
Have we considered just exporting them to Mario Kart instead of throwing them away?
How about Donkey Kong Country?
There you go.
That as well.
I don't think Mr. Kong is very picky about his bananas.
We need to learn about the anti-gravity properties of Kong Country bananas.
That's true. They do float. Genetically, we have to figure that out.
And they also spin on their own, too. Maybe could they be harvested as an energy source?
Ooh.
Since commercially grown bananas lack seeds, they cannot be hybridized in the way most fruits can. Bananas are asexual, said Gershon. There's no real breeding in bananas.
Don't you misgender my banana, son.
Well, I mean, bananas can be sexual.
I mean,
depending on where they go.
Can they be transsexual from Transylvania?
I don't know.
Well, here's the other thing. You say bananas can't be hybridized, then explain a banana berry pie.
Well, that, when a banana and a berry love each other very much.
I hope they manage to make a strawberry flavored banana and they call it the straw nanner.
Have you guys ever had those grapes that taste like cotton candy?
I hate those.
Really?
It is just so off-putting.
Like I like putting them in the freezer as like little frozen grapes, but yeah, no, I like the taste of them. They're pretty good.
No, somebody brought some to work one day, and I tried them. I was like, this is everything wrong with human society.
Kevin was like, this is the devilment.
Yeah, no, this is the devilment. These have the devilment in them. In fact, I want to say that's exactly what I said, was these had the devilment in them.
All right. So continuing on, there's no real breeding in bananas. We're eating today the same bananas our grandparents were eating in the 1950s. I mean, as long as, yeah.
We're not talking about the Gros Michels. We're talking about the Cavendish.
It's a human centipede of bananas.
The what?
A human centipede of bananas.
That's disgusting, you fuck.
The only real opportunity we have to adjust the banana to meet the challenges in the industry is facing is through gene editing. The company worked on how to disable a gene responsible for the production of an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, which causes browning. The same gene is silenced in Arctic apples, a genetically modified variety, which has been sold in the U.S. since 2017, and blocking the production of polyphenol oxidase has been shown to work in tomatoes, melons, kiwi fruits, and mushrooms.
Well, here's a question. Can they genetically modify them to taste like a fucking banana?
They taste like a banana.
I'm talking about a good banana, like a Gros Michel. Can you just modify it?
I mean...
So it has flavor.
You could just eat a Gros Michel.
Yeah, but they're harder to get.
So?
Very hard. I looked it up.
You can buy... There's a place in Florida that'll sell them to you.
Yeah, but...
They're like... It comes down to like $10 a banana.
Mike, I ain't buying my overpriced nanners from Florida, man.
Well, okay, then you're never going to get your Gros Michel again.
You're not wrong, but still.
In bananas, Tropic made precise changes to existing genes without introducing foreign genetic material. The company already has the go-ahead to sell the non-browning bananas, which are yet to be given a name, in the Philippines, Colombia, Honduras, U.S., and Canada. Okay, at least Canada's there. I was starting to go, is this all the, like, really lax food, countries? It's like, okay, Canada. If they're okay in Canada, I can say, then maybe they won't be that bad.
Yeah.
Am I just like,
Yeah, they should have their own kind of breed of banana called the Canana.
Canana, yeah.
The Canuckna.
I got bad news, guys.
Uh-huh.
I just looked it up, and you were wrong, Mike.
What?
The Gros Michel, or as they call it on the website, Big Mike.
Yeah.
$17 per goddamn banana.
It's not banana. That's like a bunch.
Nope, because size, 1 fruit. Quantity, 1.
Oh, I thought you got like at least a little bunch for...
Nope. A bunch, like a small box,
yeah,
$127.
Okay, well, go just... So what? So you're not going to put your money where your mouth literally is?
Not really.
Well, then you really don't want it then, do you?
Now, you can buy the plant for like $13.
Now, see, I'm surprised Kevin's not uncomfortable with the idea of sticking something called a Big Mike in his mouth.
I was kind of hoping you'd let that one slide, but here we are. Goddamn, son. Goddamn.
Gershon says the product is expected to comply with the requirements of the UK's Genetic Technology Precision Breeding Act once secondary legislation is passed later this year, which could pave the way for the fruit to be sold in merry old England, which I added on the merry old part.
Indeed.
Dr. Martin Katakal of the Khalifa Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology in Abu Dhabi says gene editing can be used to target several aspects of the ripening process. His team is investigating non-browning and stay green genes and another pathway involving the production of ethylene, a gas released by fruits that triggers the ripening process. Quote, "We're working on tomato, lettuce, eggplants," he said. "They're all in the pipeline."
Can I bring up something very important about Abu Dhabi?
It's where you send your little gray cat you don't want.
It's just fun to say.
Yeah, that too.
Abu Dhabi.
I was going to say that, like, there's actually a cottage industry in Britain for bananas. Have you ever heard of bananas in pajamas?
I am going to beat you like a circus monkey. I actually had a friend that was from the capital of Abu Dhabi, and the town is Addis Ababa.
Wait, what? Yeah, I think you had a little mini stroke there.
No, I didn't. Addis Ababa is the
Abu
capital of Abu Dhabi.
Well, I don't know, but I know I get all my bananas from the Bananarama.
I get mine from the Banana Republic.
This whole conversation's bananas.
You would, Kevin, support a Pol Pot dictator from a banana republic.
If it gets me food, maybe.
Other teams are investigating genes that influence the waxy protective layer known as the cuticle that covers the surface of a fruit. A thicker cuticle can protect against fungal infections in apples and tiny cracks in soft fruits such as grapes and blueberries, which cause them to shrivel. Professor Kathleen Martin of the John Innes Center in Norwich said there was increasing interest in developing products with a longer shelf life. The reason russet has been a favorite potato with McDonald's is because it doesn't go brown, she said. Non-browning is definitely a desirable trait. Martin's team developed a genetically modified purple tomato that is unusually rich in antioxidants and that is marketed in the U.S. on the basis of its health benefits. Its antioxidant
I have a problem. Number one, russet potatoes are already brown.
Well,
number two, a purple potato is just a fucking yam.
No, it's a purple tomato.
I thought I heard purple. Well, there's also purple tomatoes.
Yeah, I want to say that was like purple or blue was the original color of tomatoes.
But that's carrots.
What the fuck even are fruit colors, man?
What, man? But give me a hamburger.
The purple tomatoes have an amazing shelf life, at least twice and sometimes 4 times longer, she said. We haven't promoted it that much, but I do think it's a big selling point. Professor Jonathan Jones of the Sainsbury Laboratory has led the development of a blight-resistant Maris Piper potato that reduces the need for pesticide, but which is also protected against losses caused by blight in storage. Quote, in agricultural and food, it's not one big problem. It's a lot of little problems and reasonable sized problems, he said. There are solutions to all of them in genetics. It allows you to approach in a faster and more focused way solutions to these problems.
I was wrong. Tomatoes were yellow and green.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you got that confused with carrots,
Probably.
which were purple.
Probably.
But I think someone did breed a blue tomato at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was edible, but I do remember hearing something about a blue tomato.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. So soon you'll be able to leave those bananas on your counter for a lot longer before you have to throw them out.
Yeah, and you're still gonna throw them out. You person. You. I couldn't think of anything. I'm having a night.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. That's kind of exciting. Maybe I'll be able to have 2 bananas before I have to throw out the other 4.
Or here's the thing: you could you can peel a banana, eat half of it, and then maybe come back for the other half.
Ooh.
In a couple hours.
Yeah, or make a sandwich out of the other half. Something.
Only if you're a freak.
Shut up.
Banana sandwiches.
I grew up on banana sandwiches. Hey, it's not like I said I'm taking them and putting them on a fucking hot dog bun.
Have you heard of the banana glizzy?
What?
So there's a YouTuber I watch called Future Canoe who does struggle recipes, and struggle recipes, and one of his viewers sent in the banana glizzy, which is a banana on a hot dog bun with peanut butter, Nutella, and grape jelly.
Goddamn, son. If I weren't diabetic.
Oh, man.
Shit. Well, thank you for that, Mike.
You're welcome.
I'm shockingly fascinated by bananas and like the replacement of Gros Michel due to that fungal infection. So like this is up my alley in a strange way.
Maybe they can take the existing Gros Michel and make it, fungal resistant.
I hope so, because I am fucking sick of Cavendish.
To have 2 bananas on the market.
That would be amazing. But
1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana.
That's terrible. All right.
And
well,
maybe you could have some banana splits.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with our next round of stories and our segment for the week. So we will be right back.
Too bad Kevin didn't remember the rim shot button.
That's right. Hey, Kevin here. Hope you're enjoying the episode.
Hey, who are you talking to, Kevin?
Listeners of our shows, I also want to let them know that if they're enjoying what we've been doing, they can support us on Patreon.
Oh, Patreon. Were you going to tell them about the early episodes? Also, Patreon exclusive episodes that can be found there too?
Well, yeah, I was going to do the
whole yeah, and then there's the other cool stuff, including art, merch for subscribers, like tote bags, hoodies, shirts, mugs.
Yeah, and
can you believe people could support us for only $5 a month? You're definitely going to mention that too, right?
I was. Support Supernatural Selection and the Distraction Hole on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Visit patreon.supernaturalselectionpod.com to learn more and get started today. And we're back from break. So, guys, how do we feel about bananas?
Big Mike's gonna explode with flavor in your mouth.
Gross. So, terrible.
Also, we have a new shirt design because you said, "That's gross, you fucker." Or something. When I did the human centipede joke, you said something along the lines of, like, "That's disgusting, you fucker." And I'm like, that would be a good shirt.
That's disgusting, you fucker. Oh, boy. Don't forget to get your... I'm going to let you design that one, David.
Oh, there we go.
So, my next article is from Gizmodo. I normally don't do Gizmodo. I leave that to you guys. Yeah. But this one struck me because it shows evidence of what Mike has called puppet brain.
Yes, there are people that have this terminal puppet brain.
It's where you got to have a puppet. We have this person we know that's got terminal puppet brain, and when I'm at Dragon Con, I have puppet brain.
Like earlier today, Kevin was saying something as Tom Servo, and he started miming, running the puppet.
Yeah, my arm went up to hold the stick, and like I'm moving my finger like I'm moving, doing the chord. I was like, oh no, what am I doing? I don't even have the puppet. So anyway, this is a proof of humanity's long-time need for puppets. And this article is by Margarita Bassi, published on March 7th. Archaeologists find creepy 2,400-year-old puppets atop El Salvador pyramid. A recent discovery at the top of a pyramid in El Salvador challenges the notion that pre-Columbian Salvadorans were isolated from more advanced civilizations. A pair of archaeologists if it's a pair. A pair of archaeologists has unearthed 5 2,400-year-old ceramic figurines at the top of the largest pyramid of the San Isidro archaeological site. As detailed in a study published today in the journal Antiquity, the artifact suggests that the pre-Columbian people of El Salvador were indeed connected to other civilizations, challenging the notion that they were less developed than their neighbors. At the top of the pyramidal structure, University of Warsaw's Zimanski, and Gabriela Prej unearthed what may have been a funerary deposit. Instead of human remains, however, they found 5 ceramic figurines, 3 of which have articulated heads akin to modern dolls. This finding is only the second such a group found in the situ, on site and original position, and the first to feature a male figure. Zemansky explained in an antiquity statement. Zemansky and Prej theorized that the figurines were a form of puppets intentionally arranged at the site to represent a long-lost message. I hope that's message and not massage. Yep. Given their striking location, they may have played a role in public rituals, according to the researchers.
Man, Jeff Dunham has been around forever.
All hail the woozle named Peanut. You know, we were talking about him earlier, too.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Mike were. Quote, one of the most striking features of the puppets is their dramatic facial expression, which changes depending on the angle that we look at them from, Zemansky said. Quote continues, seen from above, they appear to be grinning, but when looked at from the level angle, they turn angry or disdainful to become scared when seen from below. This is a conscious design, perhaps meant to enhance the gamut of ritual performances the puppets could have been used in. The figurines, along with other artifacts found in the funerary deposits, such as jade pendants, suggest connections to other regions. The figurine style, for example, has also been noted in western El Salvador and southern Guatemala. Similar jade pendants have been documented in parts of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. The people who frequented San Isidro 2,400 years ago seem to have shared customs with other Central American cultures, implying at least some level of contact. And it just goes on with some more quotes about the contact, but puppets.
Mm-hmm.
Puppets. I just like the photo.
Mm-hmm.
And the angle in the article that the heads are at, these are screaming, tortured fucking puppets. With giant thighs, one's got a dick, and one of them's a baby.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at these things.
Yeah, these are tormented puppets. This is like Puppet Master BC or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm fascinated by the use of puppets in ancient society just because, like, I don't know. I feel like puppets could be seen as like a fairly modern curse.
Mm.
Being a guy who loves puppets, it is still puppets are a social disease. No, it's just one of those things where, like, I don't know. I never really thought about the origins of puppets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting that we found them in, El Salvador.
Well, and also, like, when does something become a puppet? Because say you're in a past culture, like thousands of years ago, you have a statue, and then you start playing the statue pretending it's something.
Yeah, I
Like
feel
it's
like
moving. Is that a puppet?
I feel like puppet implies performance. You know?
I guess. I mean, yeah, because unless you're doing, I mean, if you're doing it just for yourself,
It's a doll.
Okay,
Yeah.
what if he's doing it for his child?
well, that's a performance.
That's a puppet.
Yeah,
If you're doing
so,
it for an
yeah.
audience, no matter how small, yeah, you're puppeting because you're wanting the audience to focus on the puppet and not you.
And if you put it on your dick, it's a sex doll.
No, it's a sex puppet, a suppet, if you will.
A suppet.
Oh God.
Oh, I'm glad, man, I am so glad Jim Henson never hit on that shit.
Oh God.
This is my punk band Sex Puppet.
Oh, God. Hi ho there. I can't do it. I can't do it this time. I'm sorry.
It's like those. It's those Omegle things you see with like Kermit, doing
Oh.
lewd things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. It does make me wonder, how far back does puppetry go?
I mean, I guess as soon as somebody had like, I don't know, anything. I mean, yeah, like probably a long time. Like, heck, maybe the people were, when they were having fires in their caves, they were doing shadow puppets on the wall.
That's
Who knows?
very possible. Speaking of that, like, this is a interesting thing. Like, those caves in France.
Yeah,
Maybe we've talked about this. Those caves in France with the
the cave paintings.
prehistoric cave paintings.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're some of them are done in a weird style, and they thought it was just, they couldn't draw on the rocks well. If you look at them in torchlight, they flicker and appear to have movement. There was a conscious effort in the way those things were drawn because they would be viewed in flickering torchlight.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like lenticular.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that was before they were exposed to the cosmic death fungus, because that's when we talked about those cave plants.
that's right. The pigeon shit. Right, the pigeon shit death fungus that made them do those cave paintings because that's what the fungus wanted.
Fungus wants paintings and macaroni ducks.
Do you think if we do the cosmic death fungus regimen, I'd stop wanting to do puppets?
I think you would want to do them more.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you'd be too busy shitting yourself in order to do anything with puppets.
Okay, fair enough. But cosmic death fungus practitioners out there, let us know if I would stop doing puppets.
We should do that. If we ever, get to a point where we're actually making money, so one of us can do, or maybe multiples of us can do the fungus cleanse.
$200 a month on the Patreon. I will attempt the cosmic death fungus cleansing process.
Oh, Jesus.
$200 a
Wow,
month.
you're cheap. I was thinking, if we have to make enough money for me to, pay my bills and stuff.
Mike, I am a desperate whore.
I see that.
All right. Just so long as we know that. So, anyway, I'm fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by a lot tonight. I can't get that word out of my head, but I'm interested in the idea. What's that?
Absolutely fascinating.
That's absolutely fascinating. A werewolf.
Ab-fab, if you will.
Yes. I don't know. Like, I've had experiences where puppets are really cool, and I've had experiences where I would strangle a puppet.
Even though it would just be someone's hand.
Yep. It's kind of like clowns. Sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes I'm not. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, that's my second story there. I just thought it was fascinating.
I just think they're neat.
Yes, thank you, Marge. How fascinating. So, David, what you got for your next story?
Oh, I got a fascinating story for you here.
Yeah, how about you go fuck yourself?
That would be fascinating if he could.
It would be
fuck himself.
fascinating. Yeah, that would have been quite the sight.
Go fuck yourself a banana. Anyway. This is an article from Boing Boing by Carla Sinclair.
It is really hard to take them seriously with that name.
Right? Man sees demon and freaks out on American Airlines flight, screams, throws punches, and eats rosary beads.
I am
Wow.
down for this one.
That's quite the string of events.
Again, that would have been quite the sight.
Hey, and we always have a good time with airline stories.
I swear, remember Poop Plane?
Poop plane.
Poop Plane.
And then we had what?
Trouser
cat
snakes
plane?
on a-
What was it? Cat or a hamster plane?
I think it was Hamster.
Yeah, hamster plane or something like that. That was a fun one. Okay. An American Airlines passenger headed to Miami from Savannah flew into a frenzy just after takeoff Monday night when he realized who else was on board. A demonic spirit, or so he thought.
Hell yeah.
The sight of the dark presence caused the horrified gentleman to kick the seat in front of him as he screamed, trembled, and began to swallow his rosary beads.
Swallow his... I'm trying to... Like... Why that?
When you have a psychotic break, everything, all options seem viable.
Well, like, is it... I don't know. Is it more protection to swallow your rosary?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe he felt the swallowing the rosary beads would get rid of the demons inside him.
He's suffusing the essence of Christ into his body.
Yeah.
Just eat some Christ checks then.
There we go.
He hasn't gone through communion yet, so.
Also,
communion,
you don't know if there's... I don't think there's a priest on the plane, so he's on his own here.
That's true.
He hasn't had his first confession yet, so he can't take communion.
Well, anyway, continue.
At first, the other 7 or 8 passengers on the regional flight thought he was having a seizure, but then he became violent. Quote,
Oh, boy.
quote, as attendants approached the man, DeLonge Augustin, 31 years old, he kicked one of them in the chest so hard that the attendant tumbled across the aisle and into a window on the other side of the plane, reports the New York Times.
Jesus.
That's when the cabin crew realized that Mr. Augustin, who was traveling with his sister, was not having a medical emergency.
He just lost his goddamn mind.
That was like a fucking wrestling kick there. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you got video?
Oh no. I just the description of it, like sending someone that far back. Like no, that's selling it right there. The small plane returned to Georgia to make an emergency landing, where the man was taken into custody, but not before getting in a few more punches aimed at flight attendant on his way off the plane. From the New York Times, disembarkation from the jet spiraled into chaos when Mr. Augustin stormed to the front of the plane and threw several wild punches at a flight attendant before the door had been opened, the affidavit said. Several passengers helped to wrestle him and his sister to the ground. What the fuck was she doing?
Hey, look, they're family. You got to back up family.
I mean, maybe she was like, they were attacking him, or not attacking him, but trying to restrain him, and she's like, stop it.
I just like the idea of, like, he starts throwing punches, like, okay, fuck it, we're doing this.
It's like a really good D&D campaign where somebody charges in, and you're like, I guess this is what we're doing.
Yep.
You know what you have to say to that?
What's that?
Family.
Family. Then the authorities learned that Mr. Augustin had swallowed the rosary beads, so he's taken to a hospital where he was evaluated and discharged to a county detention center. His medical condition was not immediately clear as of Tuesday night.
That's anal beads the long way around.
Right. It's kind of like a plumbing snake. In the detention center, Mr. Augustin's sister told the authorities that they had been traveling to Haiti to flee religious attacks of a spiritual nature, according to the affidavit.
So you got on the plane running from Satan, and he followed you.
Right? Mr. Augustin had told his sister to close her eyes and pray because Satan's disciples had followed them onto the plane, and the Legion did not want the Augustins to make it to Haiti, it said. He swallowed the rosary beads because they are a weapon of strength in spiritual warfare, Mr. Augustin's sister told Miss Sullivan. Whether or not the beads helped rid the aircraft of the sinister spirit is unclear, but what is clear is that the man was arrested and charged with misdemeanor battery, misdemeanor obstruction of law enforcement, and felony count of criminal property damage. Fortunately, according to reports, nobody was badly injured.
Except for the person who got fucking kicked.
Oh, apparently not, so, I don't know, I guess they probably just sold it to get a day off of work.
You know what the strangest part of this whole thing is? It wasn't Delta.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I've been on a Delta flight, and I expect this kind of thing on a Delta flight.
Maybe even like Ryanair or Spirit.
Yeah. I told you about being on the Delta flight to Florida, and this like scrawny little like Indian kid wearing one of his father's suits was next to me, and we hit turbulence, and he was just exhausted and fell asleep on my shoulder. Going out of Texas, and like we hit turbulence so bad we came up out of the seats and slammed down, and he didn't wake up and was just drooling on me. I was like, I'm not gonna wake him up to die.
He found you to be a very comforting presence.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That was very bizarre though. But Delta.
Well, the only time I flew commercially was Delta. Well, nothing, interesting like that happened.
Well, that was Delta. I had a lot of fun on Southwest, though. Southwest, when we sat there, they said, all right, we're going to be serving drinks soon. Please consult with the other people in your row. You're getting 1 drink and 3 straws. I was suddenly reminded, oh, that's right. Everyone on Southwest is a failed stand-up comedian. Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you. That's a fun story, David. I don't know. I feel like the last bunch of stories in the first segment was a bunch of downers. Yeah. This is fun. We came out swinging on this one.
Yeah, no, our airplane stories are always very fun. We don't pick like crashing airplane stories.
Yeah,
we do like public freak out or like there's an alien in the seat next to me.
Yeah, it's always like Florida Man stories, but on a plane.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, Florida Man plane.
Oh, plane man. So, I'm happy we had that one. But still, eating the rosary makes sense to me almost.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a little bit.
Like it's like eating your opponent's brain to gain their power.
I mean, if you're having a psychotic break, it's not the weirdest thing you could do. If you're,
no.
Talking about demons and things.
Here's how I see it. If you've got the rosary inside you, then nothing can possess you.
Do you think in his head he like went Super Saiyan after he swallowed the beads.
With the
Like,
power
that
of
was-
Christ.
Yeah, that was like the activation matrix or something.
That just sounds like something I would have seen on the Righteous Gemstones.
Sure.
Jesus Christ, now I'm thinking about it. And I know exactly which character would swallow the rosary beads.
Of course.
That's great. That's great.
I'm glad I could help with that. So Mike,
Yeah.
what's your third story this wonderful night?
So apparently I'm in a British kick. So this one comes from the Times, UK.
Mm-hmm.
Mice perform first aid to revive their stricken companions.
Okay, I need to say that I knew this was coming,
Yeah.
but like when you posted the link in our Weekend Weird Talk,
Yeah.
I didn't need an animated GIF of a mouse performing CPR on another mouse.
Well, it's not exactly CPR, but yes, it is quite funny.
Another issue that I have with this is that we've known this for years. Disney was ahead of the curve with the rescuers. The
True.
Rescue Aid Society, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It appears that heroism is not reserved for humans. Scientists have discovered that when one rodent finds another laying unconscious, it does not simply scurry away. It leaps into action, attempting what can only be described as mouse-to-mouse resuscitation.
Fuck you. I just picture a mouse jumping up with a tiny defibrillator going, clear.
That's what running on the wheel does. It charges the defibrillator.
It just pulls out a big piece of cheese, and then the smell helps the mouse get up.
Well, no, you see, it pulls out a piece of cheese and sets it like a distance away, and the unconscious mouse like lifts up and wafts over to it on the
floats
smell.
over on the stink smell thing. Yeah, the stink lines.
In a series of experiments, researchers observed mice apparently battling to revive stricken peers that had been drugged to knock them out. They pawed at them, licked them, and pulled their tongues aside to clear their airways.
Jesus.
The behavior was not only effective, but strikingly reminiscent of human first aid protocols.
So we're rats.
Pretty much.
Well, honestly, like most people try to avoid rendering first aid, right? Because
Yeah.
so, like,
Well,
the mice are more selfless than we are.
Yeah. The study, published in the journal Science, involved placing one mouse under anesthesia, rendering it temporarily unconscious. A, quote, bystander mouse was then introduced. In more than half the cases, they pulled on the unconscious mouse's tongue, enlarging their airway. When the incapacitated rodent had a small plastic ball placed in its mouth, the companion managed to extract the object 80% of the time
Now-
before continuing its life-saving routine.
They
Good
put
Lord.
what? They put what in its mouth?
A small plastic ball.
I was not aware sex shops sold those BDSM balls that small.
I just think it's funny that once again, animal cruelty.
Well, it was unconscious, so it was no cruelty there. They didn't know. It's experiments. Experiment on the mice. These behaviors are reminiscent of how humans are taught to clear the airway of an unconscious individual during CPR, the researchers noted. Large social mammals have previously been documented lending assistance to each other. Chimpanzees have been seen tending to wounded companions. Dolphins are known to push distressed pod members to the surface to help them breathe. And elephants have been observed assisting their ailing relatives. Never before, however, has such a meticulous paws-on approach to first aid been recorded in a creature as small as a mouse.
You talked about what all these animals do, and I'm sitting here thinking, and humans will pull out their cell phone, record it, and yell "World Star."
Well, yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, you put this in a little book called "The Littlest EMT."
When you give a mouse CPR,
Huzhong Wit Tao, a neuroscientist at the University of Southern California and one of the study's authors, told the American broadcaster NPR, quote, "It seems that the mouse can perform deliberately this whole set of behaviors. The routine is thought to be instinctual rather than learnt, as the mice have not seen an unconscious animal before."
so they didn't watch a little video about what to do.
Nope, they didn't sit down and watch the instructional training video
Okay.
like I did when I took CPR classes. So these mice are better than me.
They
what I'm
got
saying.
like a little fake half mouse made out of foam
Oh, yeah.
to train them.
Oh God. A mouse resuscita Annie.
Quote, this is the first time that we've reported on these kinds of emergency-like responses from animals, she added. Rodents that receive treatment regain consciousness and mobility more quickly than those that were left alone. The, quote, carer mice spent more time tending to their fallen peers if they had encountered them before, suggesting a level of social recognition in their actions. So apparently, if they knew the mouse, they were more likely to like go up and start administering aid versus a strange mouse.
So here's a question: the observer mice that came in and did the stuff. Do you think like in the experiment they named them after like TV doctors like Quincy and Hawkeye and B.J. Honeycutt and
House
Potter? Yeah, House.
maybe
Demento.
House.
Wrong doctor, sir.
Doom.
God damn it.
Detroit.
Chivago.
Further
All very
experiments
famous medical people.
Yes, I know I went to Dr. Detroit when I had, like, foot rash.
No, you only go to him for the, the crotchal region.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely.
Further experiments suggested that the behavior is driven by the amygdala and hypothalamus areas of the brains responsible for emotional response in humans, which release oxytocin, sometimes dubbed the love hormone.
Oh, yeah.
In commentary published in Science, Willem Sharon and Zoe Donaldson of the University of Colorado at Boulder said, quote, these findings add to the evidence that an impulse to help others in states of extreme distress is shared by many species and highlight neural mechanisms that drive instinctive rescue.
But not humans.
End of line.
Thank you, my God. I feel bad about us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that GIF is a little like weird looking because it's like, the mouse is biting and pulling on the other one's tongue.
I know what it's doing.
It almost looks like it's trying to eat the tongue, but
it makes me sad for the mouse that needed CPR.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah, I noticed like at the maximum like extent of the tongue, the stricken mouse kind of like flinches, like kind of like.
Look, he's trying the best he can. Okay, give him a little credit.
Well, I mean the unconscious mouse, like kind of.
Yeah. You're not gonna die on me, you son of a bitch. You're not gonna die on me.
You see the mouse pick him up and slap him.
The GIF as you're saying that, it'll make me laugh.
You're not gonna die. I can't do it now. Watching him. It's also kind of making me feel pervy because it's like they're making out or something. No, I know, but still.
It's the life-saving kiss.
The kiss of life, they call it, yes.
It makes me want to watch The Rescuers again, damn it.
I want to go watch Rescue Rangers.
There you go.
I want to watch Rescue 911. No, I don't.
I'm William Shatner. This is Rescue 911. Anybody remember that show, or are we just old? Is that just me?
I remember that when I was a kid.
I wasn't that old.
We're in our 20s.
No, we weren't. All right, now I got to look it up.
I was probably under the age of 10.
911. You know, I think the shocking part is Shatner's still alive. Ran from 89 to 96, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, we're younger than that. Okay.
Yeah, I was in junior high.
God, it just seemed like it was, not that long ago.
God, it is so weird seeing Shatner this young because it's like, oh, wow, this is like Star Trek 4 era, I think.
He looks good for 93, man.
He does.
It's all the spite that he generated amongst the rest of the cast that fuels his longevity, I guess.
You know what I think it is?
Huh.
Orgon energy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I think he channeled it through the character of Kirk.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, guys.
Yeah.
That's it for the articles, and that means we have a segment this week.
A segmente?
A segmente. And this week, our segment is everyone's favorite segment on Supernatural Selection. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Phantoms and Monsters Theater. Welcome to Phantoms and Monsters Theater. What the hell? Had a hiccup? Welcome to Phantoms and Monsters Theater. I am Lord Kevin Beef Wellington, and thank you once again for your indulgences. I don't know why it hiccuped like that.
Yeah, it had drank soda recently.
You'll also have to
so.
play that exact same tune in reverse when you exit the segment.
I will not, sir. I will not. So we're going to do it a little differently this time. You know how sometimes I'll get y'all to choose option 1 or 2, or I'll just have one. We've got 3 choices this week.
Uh-oh.
And I am going to read to you the headlines of 3 articles from Phantoms and Monsters, and you two get to choose which one we read.
Okie dokie.
Option 1. Witness experienced unexplained time shift in family's Wisconsin woods.
Mm-hmm.
Headline 2. Experiencer believes UFO encounter resulted in leukemia diagnosis.
All right.
Or option 3. Don't get intoxicated or stoned while camping.
I mean, I don't know about you, David, but 3, I mean, how could you go wrong with 3?
I do like Cancer UFO, but but I think the one with the woods is a good
Getting
choice.
stoned or in the woods.
Yeah, don't get
also,
this. Yeah.
Also, we should do a Week in Weird where it's oops, all Phantoms and Monsters.
Oh, all of us do one? I'm thinking next episode after Chaos Magic, we should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least we do that for like one half of the show.
But we all have to have our own theme with opening, our own Lord names, and every time we read a story, we have to introduce it like that.
Okay. All right, we can do that. All right, so we're doing don't get intoxicated or stoned while camping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not UFO cancer. All right. I'm gonna hold that one back for next time. So, everywhere I pointed the light, I would see rotten, decrepit zombies shambling out of the bush around the riverbank. Lesson learned.
God fucking damn it. It's one of these first-person narratives.
Uh-huh. Yep. Nope. And it's got what may be I don't know if it's AI or from a bad movie, but it's a bunch of zombies next to a swamp. I received the following account. Hey, Lon, you might find this interesting. I drove up the east coast of Australia with some mates to camp. Wow, this is
what a quality Australian accent.
I'm committed now, buddy. Anyway, with some mates to camp in national parks and get ludicrously intoxicated.
I just transplanted from Tennessee and
ludicrously intoxicated.
Oh, so just that's an Australian Sunday drunk.
I get.
That's like you're working drunk for an Australian, right? Just you got to get ludicrously drunk just to go to the. I don't know, what do Australians do for a living? Like
goon bagging,
barbecue,
shrimp on the Barbie.
But y'all,
protecting their babies from dingoes.
I just accidentally
driving.
I just accidentally read ahead on this next sentence, and boy, is it a hoot. We brought with us a grog shop worth of booze, bags of weed, and several handfuls of magic mushrooms.
God, this sounds so fun.
This is already the best one ever. Since I wasn't driving, I decided to eat 8 of the caps before we even left our border.
Oh my God.
I don't do magic mushrooms. That seems like a lot.
It seems
like
8
mushroom caps. I would think like 1 would be like a lot.
David, how many's too many?
Well, if you're me, whatever the contents of 1 bar was.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
By the time we entered the national park and started setting up our campsite, the sun was already setting and I was already hallucinating. Meaning I was a completely unhelpful but hilarious mess of a camper.
He says he's hilarious. Everybody else is pissed off as fuck.
They're like, fuck this guy. He was like tripping balls while we were still getting gas.
He kept feeling my ears.
He kept slapping me in the side of the head as I'm trying to drive.
I think tedious would be the word.
Yes.
Anyway, cue grilling over the fire. Man, I'm not starting a fire near this motherfucker.
Not letting him at least try to grill anything.
Hey, guys, watch me jump it.
Yeah, you do that, buddy. Cue grilling over the fire, drinking whiskey, and smoking gigantic doobs.
Now, this just sounds like a Kid Rock song.
It kind of does. At around midnight, my normal bodily functions returned in earnest. And we realized that we hadn't even looked for the restroom facilities before it got dark. I love everything about this story.
Have they not been like going to the bathroom at all, or has just been pissing everywhere?
I think he's been going to the bathroom in his pants.
Probably. And now he's got to take a monster Duke.
Yep. So I grabbed a roll of toilet paper, turned on my headlamp, clutched a gigantic hunting knife between my teeth.
Why do you have another hand, you know?
Australia, Mike.
The fucking light's on your head, and you're holding toilet paper in one hand. You can hold a knife in the other hand.
Well, it's just in case he either runs into a spider or a kangaroo.
Or a kangaroo spider.
Or anything. It could have... He could... A particularly dense patch of air in Australia can do you in.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, between his teeth, and strolled 100 or so meters toward the river.
He's got shit in the river.
He's got shit in the river and not tell anyone. And the next sentence. Imagine a drug-crazed man with his pants around his ankles, squatting on a river bank, clutching a gigantic hunting knife between his teeth, with a light from his hand lamp darting around the darkness.
I don't have to imagine that because I got family in Missouri that does that.
I'm sure his dentist loved the hardened steel between his teeth.
Yeah. Everywhere I pointed the light, I would see rotten, decrepit zombies shambling out of the bush around the riverbank. Never have I defecated so quickly, all the while hyperventilating and freaking out about the hallucinatory undead coming to feast on my flesh.
He's got the mushroom shits.
This is by far the best story they've ever had on this site. After I got back to the campsite, the night went as well as any drug-fueled camp out goes. Woke up the next morning and stepped out of my tent to take a whiz, only to find a public toilet block not 50 meters from our campsite. I have never laughed harder at myself than I did that morning. Crazy. Anyway, I have never drunk or used drugs while camping since then. D. Y'all.
Yeah.
What did this have to do with the paranormal? Is he saying the zombies were real and summoned by the drugs?
No, I think it's just because it involved paranormal hallucinations.
I just feel like this was posted because dude couldn't stop laughing. It was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
Right.
that too.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure dude's name is Ron, but not Lon, but whatever. Oh man, that was great. No, it is Lon. My bad. That was terribly amusing. I just love the idea of the knife.
I just like the fact that this Australian man sounds like he's a country bumpkin.
Well,
Yeah.
you know me in my Phantoms and Monsters theater. Everyone is from the southern United States.
No, absolutely.
One day, I'll get another accent.
You have to buy it from the accent store.
It's just, any other accent I do, I'm afraid it's going to be terribly offensive to someone.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that southern accent sure is probably offensive to somebody too.
But I am southern, so it's okay. I'm just taking the inhibitor off.
I appreciate that half of what Mike said was muffled by a yawn.
And yet we understood.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, that was great.
Was it?
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, that was the most entertaining story I've ever read on this fucking website.
Mushroom shits.
I mean, a grog shop's worth of booze, bags of weed, and several handfuls of magic mushrooms.
He seems so panicked. I doubt he wiped when he was done.
I don't know.
He didn't mention wiping. I don't think.
And a quick defecation, that's diarrhea, isn't it?
You know, and I just feel
Maybe.
bad for the family who was on the riverbank who just watched this man shit in the river right in front
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
there was like he didn't see the restrooms there, so there was probably like a family like 10 feet away, like seeing just this insane man, knife clenched between his teeth, eyes darting around with his little headlight shining
They were
everywhere.
the zombies.
All right, little Bruce, I want you to look over here at nature across the river. It's very beautiful. Jesus Christ, that's a man taking a shit. Don't look, little Bruce. Don't look.
Oh,
No,
that's
you
the
see that
mighty
little
water
Bruce?
cobra.
Don't do drugs. That's why you don't do drugs.
Daddy, do I get the knife?
Nah, it's my knife.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. Anyway, so
That's not a knife. That's a spoon.
very. You see, you played knifey spoony before.
Bluey.
God, he just bluey. Fuck. Oh man, boy, we just threw every Australian reference at Yahoo Serious. There, okay, now we've got all of them.
Margot Robbie.
God damn it. Oh, let's not go there.
Hemsworth.
Margot Robbie Hemsworth? What?
Just throwing
Hey.
out references to Australia now.
Oh, that's fair. So that was
Drop bears.
Stingrays.
In your cryptids series, David, we're gonna need to do Australia.
Yeah.
Once we finish America.
In Australia, their drop bears will impale you and then sell you a hell of touristy paraphernalia.
Well, we got drop bears, and then there's the Yowie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot we could talk about down there.
Bigfoot in reverse.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, you know what the Yowie is, right?
It's something you say when you stub your toe in Australia.
Well, it's a saber-toothed Bigfoot, and its feet are on backwards.
It's also a type of anime porn.
It's a Bigfoot that is gay for another Bigfoot.
I'm just face palming over here. That's all I'm doing. That's it. I know this is not a visual show, but I'm face palming. So, anyway, before we wrap up, Mike, have you got anything you want to plug?
Nope.
Sleep?
Yes, I would. Sleep sounds awesome.
Yep, it does. David, have you got anything you want to plug?
I want people to watch The Righteous Gemstones. It's a good show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
well,
do it.
you know what?
Just fucking do it.
There. I'm gonna plug Dr. Gerald Coe on YouTube again. He's a guy who I follow. He's posting a lot of old ass UFO and paranormal documentaries from television. So like there's stuff from the 70s and there's like one from the 50s even about the recent UFO phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And he posted one today that I started watching. I was like, holy shit, I had this on VHS. I bought it from Rose's. I had this one. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The production values are just as bad as I remember. So check out him, Dr. Gerald Coe, on YouTube and his collection of vintage paranormal documentaries. So, that being said, if you would like to learn more about the show, head to supernatpod.rocks. That is supernatpod.rocks. You will find a link to our Discord, our Patreon, our store, and every episode of Supernatural Selection and the Distraction Hole. So, and if you wouldn't mind, leave a review or a like or whatever on whatever platform you listen to us on. It helps the show. So don't forget to smash that like button. So thank you, everyone, for listening. We will see you next week when we come back to talk about chaos magic. Exciting. So until then, stay safe and stay frosty. Goodbye.
Good night.
Big Mike's Banana Slammer.
Get your mouth around a big mic.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised I've survived this episode.
Well, good.
Yeah.
You got a Chivo for that.
Yep.
Well,
Everybody
I mean-
else go suck a big mic.
Well, we know that there will be a mouse there to rescue you.
That's true. 30 mice in my mouth breathing.